A legendary Delta Force commander, wrongfully imprisoned and disguised as an ordinary inmate, must navigate a dangerous prison landscape while protecting a covert mission that could save national security, all without revealing his true identity. Subscribe to the channel and follow along to see how this powerful story unfolds. Let me know in the comments where you're watching from. Marcus Taylor sat quietly in the prison yard, his muscular frame folded into a small bench, eyes scanning the concrete landscape with practiced calm. At 38, he carried himself with a quiet dignity that set him apart from the typical inmates. Most saw just another black man trapped in the system, another statistic. What they didn't know was that Marcus was far from ordinary. The prison's harsh environment buzzed with tension. Racial gangs controlled different territories, their members moving like predators looking for weakness. Marcus remained deliberately neutral, avoiding eye contact, maintaining a careful neutrality that spoke of survival instincts honed by years of training. His past was a locked vault, and he intended to keep it that way. A group of white supremacist prisoners began circling, their intentions clear. Marcus recognized the body language, the calculated approach. They thought they saw an easy target, a lone black man seemingly vulnerable and isolated. What they didn't realize was that Marcus had faced far more dangerous threats in places they couldn't imagine. The first attack came suddenly. 3 men, coordinated and brutal, attempted to corner Marcus against a concrete wall. Their racial slurs cut through the prison yard's ambient noise, laden with hatred and anticipation of violence. To the watching prisoners, it looked like an inevitable beatdown was about to occur. Marcus remained impossibly calm. His hands stayed relaxed at his sides, his breathing steady. Years of covert military training had taught him that true strength wasn't about provoking conflict, but controlling it. He knew every move before they made it, could predict their strategy with mathematical precision. The lead attacker lunged first, a telegraphed punch meant to intimidate. Marcus shifted slightly, almost imperceptibly, allowing the blow to miss by millimeters. His minimal movement spoke volumes about his training. These men were playing a game. He was operating on an entirely different level of tactical awareness. The revelation of Marcus Taylor's true identity represents a profound narrative moment that deconstructs multiple societal assumptions. At first glance, he appears to be another black man caught in the systemic trap of mass incarceration, a statistic often overlooked and marginalized by mainstream society. However, beneath this exterior lies a highly trained Delta Force commander with a complexity that defies simple categorization. Marcus's strategic placement in a maximum security prison is no accident, but a meticulously planned operation designed to protect both national security interests and his own critical mission. The prison becomes his camouflage, its harsh social ecosystem providing an unexpected shield for a man who has operated in the world's most dangerous environments. His current confinement is simultaneously a punishment and a protection, a paradox that only a handful of high-level government operatives fully comprehend. The subtle signal from the guard, a nearly imperceptible nod, reveals an intricate network of support and communication that exists beyond the prison's visible hierarchies. This moment highlights the layered nature of covert operations, where communication happens through the most minimal of gestures. Marcus understands this language intimately, having spent years navigating complex geopolitical landscapes where survival depends on reading the most nuanced of signals. His background as a Delta Force commander means Marcus has skills that far transcend traditional military training. He has been trained to operate in environments of extreme uncertainty, to maintain psychological composure under conditions that would break most individuals. The prison yard becomes just another operational theater, its racial tensions and violent dynamics merely another set of variables to be strategically managed. What makes Marcus's story particularly compelling is how it challenges prevalent narratives about black masculinity, incarceration, and heroism. He is not a victim of the system, nor is he simply trying to survive within it. Instead, he is a strategic actor, using the prison's own structures and expectations as a tool for a mission far larger than his immediate circumstances. His restraint and calculated approach speak to a profound understanding of power. That true strength is not about aggressive demonstration, but about precise, purposeful action. The three people who know the full truth of Marcus's mission represent the pinnacle of national security decision-making. Their faith in his capabilities is absolute, their protection comprehensive. His current imprisonment is a chess move in a game with global stakes, where each seemingly small action carries potentially massive geopolitical implications. As the narrative unfolds, the prison becomes more than a physical space. It transforms into a metaphorical crucible where Marcus's true identity is both concealed and potentially revealed. Every interaction, every moment of apparent vulnerability is part of a broader strategic design. The attackers who see him as a potential victim are tragically unaware that they are about to encounter a level of tactical expertise that exists beyond their comprehension. This unexpected revelation is not just about Marcus Taylor's individual story, but about challenging fundamental assumptions about identity, capability, and heroism. It suggests that true strength often resides in unexpected places, and that the most profound acts of service frequently occur in spaces society has chosen to ignore or marginalize. The moment of response represents a pivotal transformation that deconstructs every preconceived notion about vulnerability and power. Marcus Taylor, who moments before appeared as a passive prisoner, becomes a living weapon, not through gratuitous violence, but through precision-engineered defensive action that reveals decades of elite military training. The attack's initiation follows a predictable pattern of prison violence, multiple attackers converging with the expectation of overwhelming their target through sheer numerical superiority. What they fail to understand is that Marcus operates on an entirely different plane of tactical awareness. His perception extends beyond immediate physical threats, processing potential attack vectors with a computational accuracy developed through years of high-stakes international missions. Each movement Marcus executes is a carefully calibrated response, mathematically precise, and psychologically strategic. Delta Force training goes far beyond traditional combat techniques. It's a holistic approach to human dynamics, understanding that true combat involves controlling spatial relationships, psychological states, and potential energy of conflict. His body becomes an integrated system of defense, where every muscle, every breath is a calculated instrument of protection and control. The 12-second neutralization of 3 attackers appears almost supernatural to onlooking prisoners. But for Marcus, it's a routine exercise in threat mitigation. His strikes are not about causing maximum damage, but about creating maximum deterrence. Joint hyperextensions, pressure point manipulations, and momentum redirection demonstrate a level of fighting intelligence that transcends brute physicality. Each action is designed to disable without permanently destroying, a nuanced approach reflecting his complex operational background. The prison environment, with its rigid hierarchies and constant power negotiations, becomes an unexpected stage for Marcus's demonstration of tactical superiority. His response sends a profound message that goes beyond this immediate confrontation. By neutralizing the attackers with such calculated efficiency, he fundamentally disrupts the existing power dynamics of the entire correctional facility. The white supremacist gang's perceived dominance crumbles not through counter-violence, but through a masterful display of controlled, purposeful action. Prison guards' measured response further reveals the deeper layers of Marcus's situation. Their careful, choreographed non-intervention suggests a broader understanding that this is not a random act of violence, but a controlled demonstration with significant strategic implications. Their observance indicates an intricate protocol designed to protect Marcus's cover while allowing him sufficient latitude to maintain his operational integrity. The psychological impact of Marcus's response extends far beyond the physical confrontation. For the prison population, he transforms from an anonymous inmate to a figure of profound, inexplicable capability. The other prisoners witness something extraordinary: a complete deconstruction of perceived racial and institutional power structures. A black man, traditionally seen as a target in this environment, reveals himself as a master of a skill set that renders traditional intimidation tactics obsolete. What makes this response truly remarkable is its economy of motion. Marcus doesn't seek to humiliate or permanently damage his attackers. His actions are a precise communication, a demonstration of capability designed to establish boundaries and prevent future confrontations. This approach reflects the highest level of tactical and emotional intelligence, where violence is a language of last resort, used only to establish clear, inviolable personal parameters. The confrontation also serves a deeper narrative purpose of challenging racial stereotypes. Marcus subverts the typical portrayal of black masculinity in prison. He is neither a victim nor an aggressor, but a strategic actor with agency beyond the immediate circumstances. His response becomes a powerful statement about individual capability that transcends racial, institutional, and societal limitations. Underlying this entire sequence is a profound understanding of power dynamics. True strength, as Marcus demonstrates, is not about aggressive demonstration, but about controlled, purposeful action. He transforms the prison yard from a space of potential victimization into a terrain where his extraordinary skills can be strategically expressed. Each movement is a calculated decision, each moment an opportunity to communicate a deeper message about human potential and resilience. The response becomes a turning point in the narrative, a moment where the audience's understanding of Marcus fundamentally shifts. He is no longer just a prisoner, no longer just a black man navigating a complex and dangerous environment. He emerges as a complex, multi-dimensional hero whose capabilities far exceed the immediate context of his imprisonment. In those 12 seconds of response, Marcus Taylor reveals himself as something far more significant: a guardian operating at the highest levels of human capability, whose mission and identity extend far beyond the visible boundaries of his current circumstances. The prison yard becomes a microcosm of a much larger conflict, with Marcus serving as both shield and sword in a complex, unseen battle. The immediate aftermath of Marcus Taylor's defensive action reverberates through the prison's intricate social ecosystem with seismic intensity. What appeared to be a simple confrontation becomes a profound moment of institutional disruption, challenging established power structures and revealing the deep, complex dynamics of prison social hierarchy. The three attackers' swift neutralization represents more than a physical confrontation. It becomes a symbolic recalibration of perceived power and vulnerability. Prison administration finds itself confronted with an extraordinary scenario that defies standard procedural responses. The incident cannot be categorized as a typical violent encounter, nor can it be dismissed as a random act of self-defense. Marcus's precise, calculated response suggests a level of tactical sophistication that immediately signals something fundamentally different is occurring. Investigative protocols are initiated, but they are tempered by an underlying awareness that this situation extends beyond conventional understanding. The white supremacist gang's internal structure experiences a catastrophic breakdown. Their perceived invulnerability, built on years of intimidation and physical dominance, crumbles in 12 seconds of Marcus's tactical intervention. This is not just a physical defeat, but a psychological dismantling that fundamentally alters the prison's power dynamics. Other inmates observe a critical moment of transformation, where a seemingly vulnerable black man reveals layers of capability that demolish long-established racial and institutional expectations. Subtle signals between prison guards and administrative personnel reveal a deeper, more complex operational framework. The carefully choreographed non-intervention during the confrontation suggests a predetermined protocol that extends far beyond standard correctional procedures. Each official involved understands that Marcus is not a typical inmate, but an operative whose current positioning serves purposes far more complex than simple imprisonment. The psychological impact on the prison population cannot be overstated. Marcus transforms from an anonymous inmate to a figure of profound, inexplicable capability. His actions communicate a message that transcends physical confrontation, a demonstration of strategic intelligence that recalibrates how other prisoners perceive individual agency and potential. The confrontation becomes a pivotal moment of institutional mythology, a story that will be whispered and retold, gradually becoming part of the prison's unwritten social narrative. Investigations launched in the aftermath are deliberately measured and controlled. Official documentation will reflect a careful neutrality, with reports crafted to maintain Marcus's deep cover status. Each word is carefully selected, each detail precisely curated to protect the broader mission that extends far beyond this single correctional facility. The reports become a form of strategic communication, sending coded messages to those few individuals who truly understand Marcus's real operational context. The incident exposes the complex layers of racial dynamics within institutional spaces. Marcus's response challenges fundamental assumptions about Black masculinity, vulnerability, and power. He is neither a victim seeking revenge nor an aggressor looking to establish dominance. Instead, he emerges as a strategic actor who uses violence with surgical precision, a living demonstration of capability that transcends racial stereotyping. For Marcus's handlers, the confrontation serves as a critical assessment moment. His ability to maintain operational integrity while defending himself becomes a live-action evaluation of his psychological resilience and tactical capabilities. Every movement is analyzed, every decision scrutinized through the lens of national security protocols. The prison yard becomes an unexpected proving ground, a space where Marcus's true value is reaffirmed through split-second decision-making. The broader implications extend beyond the immediate institutional context. This moment represents a microcosm of larger societal tensions, a complex negotiation of power, identity, and capability that challenges deeply ingrained systemic assumptions. Marcus becomes a symbolic figure, his actions a profound commentary on individual agency within restrictive institutional frameworks. Other inmates begin to recalibrate their understanding of Marcus. The quiet, reserved man, who had previously maintained careful neutrality, now emerges as something far more complex. Respect in prison environments is earned through demonstrations of capability, and Marcus has just written a masterclass in strategic self-preservation. His approach communicates a nuanced understanding of power that goes far beyond physical confrontation. Ultimately, the aftermath becomes more than a simple resolution of a violent encounter. It is a moment of institutional recalibration, a profound disruption of established power dynamics that challenges fundamental assumptions about identity, capability, and resilience. Marcus Taylor transforms from a passive recipient of institutional violence to an active, strategic agent capable of reshaping the very environment designed to constrain him. The confrontation's ripple effects will continue long after the immediate incident, gradually becoming part of the prison's unwritten social mythology. Marcus remains at the center of this narrative, not as a victim, not as an aggressor, but as a complex, multi-dimensional figure whose true purpose extends far beyond the visible boundaries of his current circumstances. As evening descends upon the prison, Marcus Taylor's momentary period of reflection reveals the profound complexity of his current situation. His imprisonment is far more than a personal struggle or a simple act of survival. It represents a critical node in a vast, intricate network of national security operations that extend far beyond the immediate confines of his concrete cell. The attack he just survived is merely a microscopic moment in a much larger, more complex narrative. Marcus understands that his current positioning is simultaneously a punishment and a protection, a paradoxical state that only a select few can truly comprehend. His decades of Delta Force training have prepared him to operate in environments of extreme uncertainty, where survival depends on maintaining psychological composure and strategic awareness. Each carefully controlled action, every measured response, serves multiple strategic purposes. Marcus is not just protecting himself, but maintaining the integrity of a mission so sensitive that its full details are known to only 3 individuals at the highest levels of government. The prison becomes more than a physical space. It transforms into an operational theater where every interaction carries potential geopolitical implications. The racial dynamics of his situation add another layer of complexity to his mission. As a black man systematically marginalized by societal structures, Marcus represents a profound contradiction. He is simultaneously a victim of systemic oppression and a critical operative maintaining global stability. His very existence challenges fundamental assumptions about identity, capability, and heroism. His current imprisonment is a calculated strategic decision designed to provide unprecedented access to underground information networks while maintaining complete operational camouflage. Prisons represent unique ecosystems of communication and power dynamics, and Marcus's presence allows for intelligence gathering that would be impossible through traditional channels. Every conversation, every observed interaction becomes a potential source of critical information. The broader mission Marcus serves extends beyond traditional concepts of national security. He operates in a space where geopolitical strategies are negotiated through the most nuanced of human interactions. His current positioning allows him to serve as both a shield and a sword, protecting national interests through a combination of tactical intelligence and psychological resilience. Psychological endurance becomes as critical as physical capability in Marcus's world. Years of specialized training have prepared him to maintain operational integrity under conditions that would psychologically destroy most individuals. The prison environment, with its constant tension and complex social hierarchies, becomes just another operational challenge to be strategically navigated. The signals from his handlers, those subtle communications that pass almost imperceptibly between guards and administrative personnel, confirm the ongoing nature of his mission. Each moment is an assessment, each interaction a potential opportunity to gather or transmit critical intelligence. Marcus exists in a state of constant, calculated alertness. His background as a Delta Force commander means he brings a level of tactical and strategic thinking that transcends traditional military training. He understands that true power lies not in aggressive demonstration, but in precise, purposeful action. The prison yard becomes a microcosm of larger global conflicts, with Marcus serving as a critical node in a complex, unseen network of protection and strategic intervention. As night falls, and Marcus sits on his bunk, watching the cell door, he represents something far more significant than a single operative. He embodies a complex narrative of resilience, capability, and strategic purpose. His current circumstances are a testament to the multi-layered nature of modern geopolitical operations, where individual human capability can serve as a critical instrument of national security. The real battle, as Marcus understands it, extends far beyond the physical confines of the prison. It is a continuous negotiation of power, identity, and strategic purpose. His mission requires him to maintain an extraordinary balance, protecting both himself and the larger strategic objectives he serves. In these quiet moments of reflection, Marcus Taylor emerges not just as a protagonist, but as a profound symbol of human capability. He challenges every preconceived notion about limitation, demonstrating that true heroism often resides in unexpected places. His story becomes a powerful narrative about individual agency, strategic resilience, and the complex ways human potential can be expressed. The cell door becomes more than a physical barrier. It transforms into a metaphorical threshold between visible and invisible operations, between perceived limitation and extraordinary capability. Marcus knows that his real mission is just beginning, and he is more than prepared to meet whatever challenges await him. As the prison settles into its nightly rhythms, Marcus Taylor remains alert, ready, and absolutely certain of his purpose. He is a guardian operating at the highest levels of human capability, whose true significance extends far beyond the immediate circumstances of his imprisonment.